So, hey guys, if you haven't joined our WhatsApp group, please do join. You can scan this QR code and we'll help you with all the events, whatever is happening, like on my platform or anyway away with Analytics user group or Tableau Buddy user group. So, we'll keep you always updated with all the events. So, please join this WhatsApp group if you haven't. So, I'll stay here for 2 minutes. And in the meantime, like all of you, please put in the chat box your name, where you are joining from. Say hi to each other. Both the events here today are going to be very exciting. I'll give you a brief idea about what they are going to talk about, and they will then take it away. Okay. So, who we are? So, we are Tableau Buddy Talks user group. It was started not as a user group, but as a platform by me to give voice to our community rising stars who have been there doing great work. And so I wanted to build a platform for such people out there like me. And our mission has been very simple. It's all about to support new and unsung data heroes to present their story or information of their interest, and also like elevate them so that they can further go on and present at platforms like Tableau Conference or other user groups. And altogether, we have this vision that we want to serve as a platform for speakers all around the world who have not got their opportunity to shine up and take the stage. So now we have a big team. We are four of us. This is me. I'm a Tableau visionary. I'm a Tableau social ambassador for 2 years now. And the last statement, I'm not a senior product engineer now at MXGBT. I just quit my job. Vani is also a Tableau social ambassador. She has been now for 3 years straight in a row, and she is a data visualization engineer at Expedia. And right now, she is in London traveling, and I think she's with the Expedia group right now, so she isn't able to join us today. Ansula, she is a Tableau social ambassador as well, and she is a data visualization expert at Zoom. And then we have Avinash, he's also traveling. Our whole team is traveling right now, and he's a senior BI developer at Optum. So we have two sessions today. First session is all about using color to elevate your data visualization. And Shreya is going to talk about this particular topic, and she's a Tableau and Alteryx consultant at Information Lab. I think she'll give her introduction in a very good way when we'll, when she'll start off, and then we will have Yash, who is going to present about dynamic zone visibility. He's a data scientist at Ninopal, and this is all. I don't want to take away more of your time. I'll just hand over to Shreya now, and we'll see the amazing topic about how to use colors to elevate data visualizations.
Hi everyone, I'll just quickly share my screen for you all. So like Prasan introduced, my topic will be about using color to elevate your data visualization designs. So there we go. Before I start, I wanted to give a bit more of an introduction about myself. So hi everyone, my name's Shreya. I'm a Tableau Alteryx consultant at the Information Lab. Before joining the Information Lab, I did a Masters of Chemistry degree from UEA in Norwich in the UK, and I really enjoyed the data aspect of my degree, from collecting data in the lab to analysing the data, forming those conclusions, and finally presenting my research back as to, to the public and being able to make a change in the world in that way. So from there, I applied for the data school and I got in for the DS39 cohorts. And from there, I'm now part of Lloyd's Banking Group for my first placement, which is really exciting. I'm working with people such as Diego Parker, he's also a Tableau visionary. I'm also with Ant Pulley, he's a Tableau ambassador. So lots of amazing people who are encouraging and supportive. So that's really cool. A bit more about my achievements so far. I've received 3 Viz of the Days in Tableau Public. And since June 2023, I'm also a Tableau Public featured author. And here is one of the visualizations I made. This is about Google Analytics data. It was part of the Back to Visualization Basics Challenge. And finally, I want to talk a bit more about my hobbies. So one of the things I really love doing is creating jewelry. This is one of the necklaces I've made. It's aquamarine and heliodor. This is another necklace I've made. I also love crocheting. I like playing with watercolors, working with clay, spending time in nature, spending time with my friends, and I also love playing the guitar and the ukulele. So I enjoy a bit of everything, and I love trying out new things. Um, so the next topic I wanted to talk about is, why is color important? Well, as humans, we're very visual creatures. We associate colors with so many emotions and experiences. For example, if I ask you to imagine a beautiful orange sunset, you can see it probably very vividly in your mind. The color of the orange, who you were with, how you felt in that moment. So, color can be very, very powerful in that way. And the way you can apply color to your data visualization designs is you can use it to highlight certain key metrics, really draw people's attention to the information you want them to see. So as soon as they look at your dashboard or your visualization, they can instantly pick out those insights. The best visualizations, in my opinions, are the ones that allow the person to understand the data and the story within a handful of seconds. So it's important to be able to really intentionally and purposefully decide which colors to use and where you want to apply them in your data visualization designs. Also, using colors in your data visualization designs can make them a lot more engaging and impactful. For example, imagine if you had a data visualization and it's completely in grayscale. Most people wouldn't want to engage with the data, it doesn't draw their eye in. As soon as you add color and you make it visually appealing, people want to explore the data. Sorry about that. Yeah, and that's another way you can increase the appeal and usage of your dashboards. Because when people want to see that data, that's when you can make the most, the greatest change. You can actually have people interacting with your dashboard. So what I'll be covering in this presentation is some basic color theory tips and techniques, color psychology, how we associate colors with different feelings and experiences, 2 UI design tips that hopefully you'll be able to take away and apply to your data visualizations straight away. And finally, where I looked to find some color inspiration or color palette inspiration. So with that, let's go on to our first topic about color theory. So color theory is all about how different colors interact with each other. The first topic we'll be looking at is color relativity. So our human eye perceive color in different ways. And one of the ways we perceive color is the colors surrounding it can really change our perception of that color. For example, here I have 3 circles, A, B, and C, on a different colored background. Now I'm going to give you a few minutes just to think to yourself how many different shades of blue I've used here. By the way, this exercise might vary between your screen displays, but I'll give you a few seconds just to think about how many different shades of blue there are. And feel free to put it in the comments too if you want. Okay, we've got 5, 2. Actually, these are all the same color. 3. Yeah, these are all the same color of blue. But can you see how the background has made it look so different? For A, it looks very, very vibrant on that pastel pink background. For blue, because it's a very similar shade of blue next to it, it looks a lot more muted. And for the dark blue, again, it's very similar to the pink, but it's a bit less vibrant. But that's such an interesting thing, isn't it? So let's do another exercise. Again, 3 colored circles, A, B, and C on different colored backgrounds. How many different colors have I used here? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, we've got 1, 1, 2. Yeah, so actually, yeah, 3 different colors, but they look very similar compared to the back. in perception to the background I've used. So that's when color relativity comes in, and that's one of the things you can apply to your data visualizations. Um, just being aware of what color backgrounds you're using, how you can make colors pop a bit more. The next topic I want to talk about is analogous colors. So this is when you use colors that are next to each other in the color wheel. For the example I've used here is 3 different shades of blue. But this would also work if I used green, blue, and purple. So what this effect does, if you use colors that are next to each other in the color wheel, it creates a very harmonious, visually appealing, and pleasant look to it. You naturally find it very pleasing to the eyes. You find the design attractive. So this is something I use a lot in my data visualizations, is using those color palettes right next to each other. And a great way of applying this as well is using gradients. That's another, like, even having a gradient background for your data visualizations can look so beautiful because they usually use like a nice transition between the colors. Now, the other thing is complementary colors. So complementary colors are when you use colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. These are very striking, high contrast. They're not the most visually pleasing, but they really grab your attention. So as soon as you really want someone's attention, I would say go for complementary colors. They're often very high energy as well, and you'll often see them in sports branding. Yeah, they're very intense and very. Some people like to call them uplifting. So generally, if you want something a bit more visually appealing, you'd go for analogous colors. If you want something very striking, grab someone's attention straight away, a bit more uncomfortable, you'd go for complementary colors. Now with that, I'll go on to my next topic, which is color psychology. Color psychology is all about how we perceive colors, the emotional response it produces within us, and subconscious associations we have with colors. So people in branding, they often take this into account very much. Colors can have positive and negative connotations, and this is one way to really add a bit more empathy and emotion into your data visualization designs, make people subconsciously connect with those designs, and create more of an impact. So some of the subconscious associations we have of red is that it's a color of danger, passion, anger, romance. And it really, when you think of red, it really brings those imagery into your mind. It brings those emotions to you as well. Same with orange, energy, creativity, fire, warmth. Yellow is all about joy, happiness, optimism, positivity. And these associations can also vary quite significantly between cultures. For example, in the Western culture, we think of red as danger, passion, anger, and romance, but in China, it's actually a color of luck, fortune, and success. And in Russia, I've heard that it's a color of beauty. So this is one of those scenarios and situations where it's really important to know your target audience, what they would perceive that color as. So yes, in Western culture, we might consider it as like a negative color. You might color bars that you want to bring attention to, that like declining KPIs or declining bars. You might want to color them red, but in China, you might want to pick a different color. And there's this really cool data visualization I've seen online from the Information is Beautiful website, and it's all about colors and culture. So in this visualization, across here, we have letters, and this symbolizes different cultures. For example, Japanese, Hindu, Native American, Chinese. And across all of these numbers, these are different associations of those colors, different feelings. For example, B, pink, 40, that would be Japanese, um, healthy. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so just finishing up that topic, that's one of the ways you can apply color psychology into your data visualization designs. The next thing I wanted to talk about is 2 UI color tips. So this is my first tip, and this is actually one of my favorite tips. Again, this might not be as effective depending on which monitor you're using. But this is a very common UI design tip, and that's to avoid using pure black and pure white together. Now, the reason for this is that it's very high contrast. They're two very high contrast colors, and the effect they produce is almost as if, imagine you're in a dark room, pitch black, and someone flashes a torch in your eyes. It feels incredibly uncomfortable, right? That's the same effect pure black and pure white together produce. And like I said, I feel like this is a tip that a lot of us have made in the past. I know I've definitely made this mistake too, but it causes a lot of eye strain on the eyes. Um, for example, on the left, I have pure black and pure white, and on the right, I've deviated ever so slightly from these colors. Now I'll let you decide which one or which side is easier to read and feels more comfortable to the eyes. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, the right one. The right one feels a lot easier to look at. It's less straining, and in my opinion, it also looks a lot more elegant too. And the same can be said with pure white and black text, and then deviating ever so slightly from pure white and black. Now, for this one, tell me which one you feel is more comfortable to look at. Yeah, the right one. Yeah, you guys have got it. Exactly. The right one is a lot more easier to look at. And the thing is, if you're not, the only reason you can tell I've deviated ever so slightly from pure black and pure white here is because I've given you the pure black and pure white comparison on the left. But if you didn't see this, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference in your data visualization designs. It's such a subtle but powerful difference. Yeah, so the main tip here is deviate ever so slightly from pure black and pure white when you're creating your data visualizations. It will be a lot easier to read, and produces an easier user experience. The next tip I wanted to talk about is the 60-30-10 rule, or the 60-30-10 palettes. So the premise of this, if you're finding it difficult to create a color palette or decide which colors you want to use for a dashboard or a visualization, have 60% as your main color, 30% of a color as your secondary color, and the most impactful color should be your accent color. That should only take up 10% of your dashboard. So this is again another popular UI design rule. Here are two examples where people have used it for mobile UI design, and you can see how they've applied those colors into this. And this is actually something I used in my own data visualization for my Google Analytics data. So as you can see for this visualization, 60% of my visual is that kind of pale blue color, almost a grey blue. 30%, which is used for the boxes here, is the white. And then for my accent color, again, the most impactful color I wanted to use, I put them in my KPIs, I put them as my marks. I really use them a bit more sparingly. So they really grab your attention. So if I click on my visualization here and share this with you, hopefully you can see a bit better how I've applied that palette into this. So again, that accent color is really popping at the top here with the KPIs. The background is that beautiful grey blue color, and that takes up the majority of my dashboard. And the second color that you'd instantly see is this white, and I've used this for all of my containers or my boxes. And I've even so that one of the things I want to mention with this rule is that there are many variations to this rule. Some people like using 70-20-10, 60-30-10, like I've described here, and some can even be applied for 4-color palettes, or 4 colors, or 5 colors. So here I've even used a secondary accent, which is this gorgeous, almost like a periwinkle dark blue. So it's really picking out those key colors. And if I go back to my presentation, the trick with creating a color palette is to use as few colors as possible. The less colors you use, I would say 3, 4, 5 max, absolute max. The less colors you use, the more elegant and professional your design will look. So that's why you really have to think about using color intentionally. Finally, I wanted to talk a bit about where you can find some color palette inspiration if you're finding it hard to create a color palette yourself. So my first suggestion is Coolers. You can find so many amazing already pre-made color palettes here. You can even extract colors from images if that's something you want to use as well. And if you do feel like creating your own color palette, it's also a great tool to kind of see how those colors would work next to each other. And the second one I use a lot, and this is probably my go-to usually for inspiration, is Pinterest. There are so many amazing color palettes here, and you can see how they've extracted them from images, and it can just be a really inspiring way to incorporate them into your data visualization designs. So that concludes my presentation. I hope you found it interesting, and I hope you found some great tips to take away with you and apply to your own data visualization designs. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Well, great presentation, and I think lots of takeaways, Shreya. How you talked about the 60-30-10 ratio, I think that is really effective. And yes, like colors altogether, they have a humor and they can have different meanings in different scenarios. So I think great
Mhm.
presentation altogether and great takeaways. There is
Oh,
one,
thank you.
like,
Hmm.
there's one question: how to balance this? I think Polite is asking about the color psychology, how to balance this while working for a multicultural organization.
Oh, that's a good question. One of the ideas that instantly pops to my mind is potentially using parameters to color different to change the colors according to the culture. For example, if someone selects their culture, then you can have like a calculation or a parameter that would automatically change the colors in the graph and produce that same response.
I think that works very well because we always like I had this conversation once with someone and like red, it is taken as most likely as a danger kind of, it gives that kind
Mm.
of a feeling. But let's say in China, it's used for something like harmony. So like it has
Mm.
different meanings, and with using parameters, I think yes, we can surely make it more dynamic and it can work for multicultural organization and adoption.
Yeah, but that's a great
Okay.
question.
Okay, so I think we do not have any more questions. So okay, we have things to teach. Things. So we have one more question. So
Mhm.
Rishabh is asking, what are the things to keep in mind while selecting brand color for personal branding?
Oh, for personal branding, I think it's my advice for this would be think about color psychology and what kind of impression you want to make on the public. For example, blues are very calming colors. They're a color people associate with loyalty. Greens, again, if you're, for example, if you have a very natural brand, organic, you're dealing with organic stuff. Green is a great color. People automatically associate it with nature. It's about building trust with the public and your client or consumer. So use color psychology to kind of like build that trust.
I think that works. I too have to like build logos right now for my upcoming thing, so
Mm.
I'll keep those things in mind for sure. Any
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, we have a follow-up question, like any book recommendation on color psychology?
I don't really have any book recommendations, but there's so much material on the internet and the web. So even just a quick Google, and you will get hundreds and hundreds of websites and links. going into color psychology, and the same with color theory. If you're really interested in color theory, so much material and resources online, completely free. So definitely do a little browse and dive
Yeah.
in.
Okay. I think there's one more question, and it's not related to color theory or color psychology. It's about how
Mhm.
to decide, it's from Bharat, how to decide to choose the chart color, like area map and other charts. Like, how do you generally decide?
So, the way I like to do this is start with everything grayscale, or just keep all the colors uniform. Gray is a great color to start off with. And then think about your user and what information you want them to instantly see when they browse the dashboard. If it's like the top metric, color in that bar and leave the rest all gray. Just for example, I'm gonna share my sorry. I'm gonna share this one again. For example, here, if you look at the table I've done here, you can see that only United States, the top one rank, is in color. And the same with the KPIs. I've only done the value with the top metric in a color, and the rest is all a uniform color. So that way, anytime anyone instantly looks at the chart, that's the one they see straight away. That's the information they get within those few seconds of looking at your dashboard. And that's what you want to do. If they can take away the message from your dashboard within the first few seconds of looking at it, you've done an amazing job.
Yes, I'll second that. Like colors are really important for data visualization because we have a real estate that is fixed, and color is not just about using colors, but they are also displaying information, and also helps us to pinpoint things. So using them in a way that you have mentioned right now, that really helps, and it actually gets the user's attention so that they can actually take out the key things in just few seconds. So
Exactly. 100%.
I think that's all the questions we have, Shreya, and thank you so much again for this great
Thank you for
session.
having me.
Yeah, it's a
No,
pleasure.
thank you, and thank you for everyone else for being so engaging as well. I really appreciate it, and it was lovely sharing my presentation with you guys. Um, and with that, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, and I'll also share her Tableau Public portfolio. If you would like to go on, go ahead, download it, dissect it. I think that's the best way to learn things. So go
All of
ahead.
my visualizations are downloadable, by the way, if you wanted to download and learn that way.
Okay. I'll share that in a while in the chat box. Okay, thank you so much, Shreya, and thank you so much,
Thank
everyone, for
you.
being so interactive altogether. And let's move ahead. And now we have Yash. He is going to talk about dynamic zone visibility, the new hyped feature, and I loved it. Like I've used it recently in one of my web embedded products I was building, and it actually changed the way how we have to do things. Also, like it helped me to minimize so many number of sheets, also made it performance effective altogether. So I won't take much of your time. I'll hand it over to Yash. Yash, take it away.
Thanks, Prasan. So I'll share my screen quickly. Let me know if it's visible for everyone. So I hope it's visible, Prasan.
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Sure. So hi everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm Yash, and today I'm gonna tell you a few things about how we can take out some hidden insights from the data using a new feature from Tableau, which is dynamic zone visibility. So before starting with the topic, here's a little bit introduction about myself. So I'm working as a data scientist since 2 years in Nenopal, and I started my Tableau journey also 2 years back, which is October 2021. And apart from Tableau, I also have done some projects in using Python and SQL altogether. And yeah, so this is about me. Let's start with the agenda for the session. First of all, I'll be talking about why do we need dynamic user interaction based dashboards? Why is it actually important to have such dashboards which are having visualizations which are interactive with the user. Then we'll move on to the what is dynamic zone visibility. We'll see a use case how we can use it on Tableau. We are also going to see some Tableau public dashboards which are using dynamic zone visibility in their own ways, and then some more features which can be used in the dashboards to make our dashboards more interactive. So, quickly, let's begin with our first topic, which is why are interactive dashboards necessary? Why do we need dashboards which have, dynamic features which will depend on users' input and show us the results? So, mostly dashboards are built by businesses to analyze what their business decisions should be, to zero upon the strategy, to decide what should be done so that they can increase their profits. Or it is the opposite of that. Once they have taken the business decisions, they want to make dashboards to analyze the results of those business decisions. There are only two ways to it, right? So when they want such dashboards, they want it to be interactive in case they want personalized insights from it. So dashboards, one dashboard to be valuable for many departments in the business, it should give us the option for personalized insights. As a product manager, I would want to see the dashboard on a product level, but someone else from the company would want to see the dashboard on some other level, on some other dimension. So the dashboard, if it is interactive, if it gives immediate feedback to what the user needs, then that dashboard would be more valuable to the company. It would help the company in faster decision making, because they don't have to go to the developer every time they want a new dimension, or they want a new level to the dashboard. They don't have to go to the developer, ask them to redevelop the dashboard, publish it. They can just on one click get it on a different level, see the uh, results, and make a decision. So it is important for faster decision making, better storytelling. People can go through their clicks, what in whichever direction they want to go, they can choose and go in that direction and see the data. So better storytelling and adaptability for changing data questions. As I said, that people from different departments may have different questions to the data. So yeah, these are the reasons why. There can be more, but these are some reasons that I understand that why dynamic user interaction based dashboards are important. So Tableau thought of it and came up with a feature which is dynamic zone visibility. There are other methods as well, but this is the latest one, which allows the user the ability to show or hide specific zones or sections of the dashboard based on what user has selected, what user wants to see. And according to that, what will happen? It will enhance the user experience, because it would be presenting you only that part of information which they want to see. So let's see a use case how I have developed a dashboard using this. Pardon me for not using the 60-30-10 rule, Shreya. I would be redesigning it with the rule. Definitely, I love the rule. So this is my dashboard, and as you can see on the first go, that there are four major KPIs showing the YTD values, a monthly trend, and a comparison from the previous month. And here you can see the top customers KPI, same KPIs with a like a customer level based table where you can see all the four KPIs values as a bar, horizontal bar graph. As soon as I click on sales, so when I say see that okay, the sales is has not performed good because it has gone down 28%. I just click on, because it says click to see geographical analysis. When I want to make good strategies to improve sales now, in which state do I perform those marketing steps? I just click on sales and see which states have performed better, which have gone down. And as soon as I clicked on it, a map has come. And also in this table, if you didn't see that, a state dimension has come in to see state level customer analysis for only sales, because I have clicked on sales. So there are three or four things which have happened on the dashboard as soon as I clicked on sales. When I click on returns, all of this changed, or even the map and the table has changed for analyzing whichever KPI I have clicked. When I click back on returns, this will close, and again I'll be back to the same view. If I click on profit, the same thing is happening for profit and quantity. So what all is happening in this dashboard, let us try to recreate. So at the end, I'll take the questions. So please keep noting down or sending your questions, and then we can take it. So I've just got a new workbook. First of all, I'll develop the headers. I'll just connect to a Excel sheet. I'll show you what it has. So here you can see that there's only one column with all the 4 headers that I want. I'll go to my sheet. Right now, I'll show you the first set of headers that I have on the top. I'll put headers in columns. I'll put headers in text. And then we have the first two which I had in the dashboard that I showed you. I'll just hide the headers. And here, an important step that I'm going to do, which we'll see why I have done this while applying the dynamic zone visibility. I'll just write true in one calculated field and put it in the detail section. We'll see why we have done this at the end. Now to make the map, I'll again just connect the sample superstore dataset. I'll come to this sheet. I'll add in state. I'll create a field map using the show me option. Now I'll create two calculated fields, two parameters. One which will help us select which metric is clicked on in the dashboard. So I'll name it as DZV selector. I'll add its values as a string. I'll add its values from the header section. So now we have all of it. I'll just select sales as of now. I'll create a metric 1 calculated field, which I have already copied. So what this metric 1 calculation is saying, whatever selection is done on the parameter, just show its value, right? Simple calculation. If sales is selected, say sum of sales. If returns is selected, return count of returns. So I'll just drop this metric in color section. You also saw some arrows in here in the map, which is created using map layers. You can also do that. Just you can drop in another state on it and you'll get another marks card for altogether. You can drop in whatever you want. I have dropped in metric 1 previous month, and metric 1 previous month will show if it is a trend going up or trend going down. So that is map layers. We're not covering it today because of time constraint, but yeah, that is how I've created the arrow on it. I'll remove it as of now. So we have got our map, we have got our headers. Now I'll just go and create the table which we see on the left hand side. The first table shows us customer name with the 4 metrics. I'll just drop in the 4 metrics here. This was the table that we had in the start, and we also see another table which is based on state. So I'll create that table also. And only the calculation that is selected should be shown in this. So we'll not drop individual, but we'll drop metric 1 in its text. Now we'll create another parameter called DZV1 to actually apply the dynamic zone visibility. To apply the dynamic zone visibility, we need only a Boolean parameter. Only Boolean parameters can be used to apply dynamic zone visibility. That's an important point to know. I've created this parameter. Now let's create the dashboard. So I'll again give you a quick view of how our dashboard was looking. You can see that this dashboard has 2 sections in it, the title and the whole dashboard. And then this section also is divided into 2 vertical sections. So we'll try to use containers to make this structure. Because while using dynamic zone visibility, it's very important to see that both the worksheets that we want to show are coming from the same, are inside the same container. So I'll just drop in both my containers. This is the title container. I'll just decrease its height. In this one, we'll again put a blank, divide our section into two vertical containers as we saw, one for the table and one for the KPIs. Again, in this container, now we'll put both our table sheets. And in this one, I'll put my headers and map. I've not created the KPIs right now because we just want to see the dynamic zone visibility functionality. Okay. So now you can see that we have all of the visualizations that we want to get to that functionality. What are the steps? What are the functionalities that we want in this view? We want that if sales is clicked, first of all, this map should not be visible. This table should not be visible. Only this table and the headers should be visible. That's first. Second is when any metric is clicked, this table should be hidden. This map should get the color based on that metric, and this table should be hidden. If anything is selected. So let's start by seeing how we can do that. First, we'll go to this map. We'll go to layout. A new feature which would be added is control visibility using value. We'll just click on it and we'll say parameters dzv1. And now we'll go to dashboard. We'll go to actions. We'll add an action called change parameter. We want to change the parameter using sheet 1, which is the header sheet. We want to change the parameter, which is dzv selector. We want to change it using the headers. So whatever header is clicked on, we want the dzv selector to get that value, right? If returns is selected, the dzv selector should change to returns. That is what we are achieving through this parameter action. And if it is cleared, we want it to be none. These are all the settings I've applied to my parameter action. And we'll add another parameter action to change our dzv1. Now, here comes the part when I said that we'll see it at the end. When I was making the headers, I added a calculation called calc for dzv, where I just mentioned true. So I'll add parameter action on sheet 1. I'll say the target parameter this time is our dzv1, and it should take the value of calc for dzv whenever anything is clicked on this sheet. So this parameter action says that whenever anything is clicked on sheet 1, dzv1 will take the value of calc for dzv. And if it is cleared, it would be set to false. So this is how we are changing the value of dzv1 using this parameter action. So now when we click on sales, the value of dzv changes to false. It would hide the map because we have made it control visibility using value. When we again click on it, it takes the value of true, the dzv1 changes to true, and our map is visible. Another set of KPIs, if we add below the map, it would feel like this is closing and the headers are coming up. Now to handle these two sheets, I've used swap sheet functionality. What I'll do is I'll just create a calculated field called swap sheet. I'll mention dzv1. So when dzv1 is true, we want this to not show. So I'll just apply the swap sheet and filter. I'll exclude this sheet. So now you can see when only this is showing. When sales is clicked, we want this to be hidden. We'll go to this sheet. We just apply the swap sheet functionality over here. We'll filter it. So now only this is visible. Okay. We have filtered it on both of the functionalities. So let's We only want to show when it is false. Yeah. So now you see that this table is coming when the DZV1 is false, and this table is coming when the DZV is true. So swap sheet and dynamic zone visibility, these two features combined, I have made this dashboard. We can also add in more KPIs and anything else which is required, and convert the table to a horizontal bar graph to get this dashboard. Coming back to my presentation, there are a few more use cases that are on Tableau Public that I can quickly go through. Here you can see that there's a dashboard on category level. If you click on this arrow, it would show you the chart of this category on state and bar graph. This is also made using dynamic zone visibility. This container is basically hidden using a parameter. This is another example where you see menus here. To get to this menu options, dynamic zone visibility is used. So you can see that there are different metrics altogether in different menus. In this option, you can see that there's whichever state you select, you will start seeing its details in this small section, and some more charts at the this section, right? Otherwise, it's all closed. When you click on any state, you can see more detailed analysis of that state. And a very good example that I saw on Tableau Public is this one, that wherever you click on any state, you can see the details of that state. And another very tricky thing which is used here, if you press Control and click on two of the states, then you see a comparison between those two states. So this is also a very good example of dynamic zone visibility. Some other features that you can also use to make your dashboards more dynamic is dashboard actions. We used some of the dashboard actions. There are others. You can use parametric controls. You can use forecasting, reference lines and bands. Reference lines and bands also have functionality which they can change according to whatever data point a user selects. So yeah, you make it dynamic using that. Annotations, custom filter buttons, custom shapes and images, and dynamic titles and captions. All of these things you can explore. There are many references for that, and use it to make your dashboards more engaging and insightful. That's it from my side. Please let me know about any questions.
So great presentation, and it was great to see it again live in action, guys. Uh,
Thank you.
we thoroughly enjoyed this session in the in-person event and right now as well. So, any questions, guys, related to dynamic zone visibility?
I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for being such a nice audience.
Sorry.
Sorry, your voice cut in between.
Oh, I was just saying that it was really great. Everybody enjoyed it thoroughly. I can see so many comments here. It was great, and yes, like altogether, like how you used it, how you have actually like led this sort of a very mini workshop kind of thing. It was great to see, and I think so many people will really enjoy this feature to implement that in their work. Like I remember, like since we have a bit of time, I would like to really share my experience with that. So like we had this very small KPI cards kind of a thing. Like it was somewhere around only 552 cross 264 pixels. And in that particular size itself, we had one view which was a normal KPI, numbers and charts. Then there was another view that was more of a text table. Then there was another view where we were using data stories. So what we had to do is one way was to actually like build these separately and then use different dashboards and maybe use parameter actions or the web buttons because we were using it for web and the like embedded dashboard. But with the dynamic zone visibility, like lots of people are saying it's DZV right now. So yeah, so with this feature, like I was able to do it in just one dashboard. So that was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has multiple use cases, and it's just the start. Like I really like one use case which Samuel Parsons shared. Like when it just came in, he built a dashboard where you can actually zoom in a chart,
Yeah.
pop up and zoom in. That was really great. I really love that use case. I think we have minutes a few times using using Tableau. Let me explain the theory. Okay, I think his question is more around like we couldn't see these at the section in Tableau. There isn't any section, but Yash, can you please
Yeah, yeah,
share
sure.
that?
I'll just share my screen and answer Bharat. So Bharat, actually, there's a new. So when we added, so I'll just click on. So here you can see that there's a container which has this map as well as all of these KPIs. So when I click on the map and go on the layout, you can see that there is a section called control visibility using value. This is the area which Tableau has added to apply dynamic zone visibility. And here we can select any Boolean parameter which can actually control the visibility of this particular container. And to control this visibility, basically dzv1 has two values, true and false. When it is true, it would show. When we click on this, I've applied a parameter action to change the dzv1 values to false. As soon as the dzv1 value changes to false, it would be hidden. So basically, the theory behind this is this particular parameter is controlling the visibility of this particular container. So yeah,
Yes.
is that
So
what you
there are
said?
only, I think, two catch here
Yeah,
that we need to know that first is you need a parameter for
yeah,
sure, and then you need a Boolean calculation. If you have these two things, you are ready to use dynamic zone visibility feature. And the best part about this feature is that it's not really restricted to any chart or any particular object, but you can use any of the objects, like whether it's a text box, whether it's a, let's say, a image as well. So any type of object, you can control its visibility using this particular feature.
correct. Anything which
Earlier,
we
like
can put in
we
the container.
Right. So earlier we used to like do parameter actions, but it was
Yeah,
actually like we had to build these things inside Tableau, like as buttons, and then we would plug in
yeah,
and link those, then work it out. But with this, like we don't have to go to that extra mile. So
right.
it helps there. Rishabh would like to you to share the links to the
Sure, sure, sure. Definitely.
related to the dynamic zone visibility. Yeah, it's a new feature, Rishabh. Don't worry. And like once you try it, you will be in love with it because it's really nice.
Okay, just I'll share my file. These are the four dashboards that I referenced.
I think Bharat has a follow-up
Yeah.
query. Would like to know where should make a separate section for filter or filter can be put as floating. What is the standard? What do you follow?
So when you're saying that the headers are basically not filters. Those I've created a separate Excel sheet and added them as text, because now what, again, I'll just share my screen to quickly refer to what I'm saying. So basically, because I wanted the map to show the metrics selected, we cannot place them as filters, but we need them as text. We need them in the text box or the labels, because I need to take these values and put it in a parameter. If we put it as filters, I would not be able to do that. But when you ask that should we place filters in a floating place, or but I don't prefer putting anything in floating containers, because what happens is when you change devices or when you change the layout, the floating containers can go out of place. So I definitely always prefer putting everything in as a tiled container. So let me
Okay,
highlight this.
I think we've
Yes,
answered all the
you can.
questions, and
There's
yeah,
a follow-up question by Bharat. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
we
please.
can change the name of the header in Excel, and it can be a live connection. So when you reopen your Tableau, it would refer to the Excel sheet again, and the name would change.
Okay. I hope all your queries were answered, Bharat. Okay, nice, nice to know. And thank you so much, Yash. Thank you so much for like this another great session. Like we had you in person and then here as well, and we all loved how this really works and how you have actually explained it. And also, thank you for sharing all the links, your references, your inspirations. And everyone, I would really suggest you to go ahead, build a dashboard, use this particular feature, also incorporate colors theory and psychology. What Shreya explained to us, like if you power back both these things, like your dashboard will get notched up. Like whatever you're doing right now, it will essentially get notched up. I'll say for sure, I can vouch for sure. And before we end this, I would also like to just do one more promotion, and it's about one of the sessions that is going to happen on 28th of September, and that is for Analytics Tug. I think it is one of the biggest tugs, and I happen to be the host for that particular tug as well. And we have great speakers over there, so please do join. Some of the great names like Kristen, Andy Codriff, Priya, all of them will be there as speakers. So please do register if you haven't, and hope to see all of you again. Thanks again, Shreya. Thanks again, Yash. It was really nice to host both of you, and I hope we'll meet again soon in next events.
Sure.
And I'll also
Thank you.
share the, yeah, you're welcome. And I'll also share Shreya's Tableau Public portfolio. And do get in touch with us. You can message me on LinkedIn if you need any help or if you need any guidance. So Tableau community is always there to help. So please do that. Okay. Take care, guys, and have a good weekend. Thank you for taking out some time. You, Shreya, and Yash, you as well. Like taking out your time out of your weekend and then coming out to speak here. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
It
Thank you
was
for having me.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Bye bye.
bye bye. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.